What you do with your time and money is your business, as long as you are not hurting anyone. Previously, I've talked about how Disney adults really aren't that big of a problem. If you enjoy going to Disney World as an adult, as long as you're not one of the Disney adults who are pushing kids out of the way to meet Mickey Mouse or something like that, I don't care what you do with your own time and money, and no one else should. And now we have another children's company pandering to adults through nostalgia. But before I get into that, be sure to give this video a like. Comment your thoughts on the whole phenomenon of companies like Disney and such pandering more to adults because, well, according to World of Statistics on X, Gen Alpha is incredibly small comparatively speaking. There are only 38.5 million members of Gen Alpha compared to nearly 70 million Gen Z, 72 million millennials, 65 million Gen Xers, and 68.5 million boomers as of January of last year. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for daily videos of cultural commentary from a man caught between generations. Forgot to mention the channel name, Zillennial Nexus. Anyway, let's get into this article from Not the Bee, titled Chuck E. Cheese Goes the Disney Route, begins catering to adults who want to do kids stuff in their arcade. And you can see the 90s style branding and animatronic costume there. I don't remember if that was the Chuck E. Cheese branding when I was a kid. I'm actually going to quickly look up the Chuck E. Cheese logo through the years. But suffice it to say, it wasn't like that for me. They're clearly pandering to someone older than me. Alright, I found it. As you can see here. Oh, wait, this isn't organized. Okay, this is going to have to do. So you've got 77 to 81. Alright, so it looks like it's the mid-90s or so. Yep, 94 to 98. Before and shortly after I was born. This is the one I grew up seeing in the commercials. And that's the CGI abomination that today's kids are subjected to. Getting back to the article by Mr. Retrops, we've dedicated pages upon pages to the fact that Disney doesn't seem all that focused on catering to children these days, and you can see it at the parks. And I have this tweet from Dinesh D'Souza. If you're thinking of taking your kids to Disneyland, I give you Disneyland. Is there a single kid in sight? Kids here seem outnumbered 10 to 1 by creepy adults. Just gonna lower the volume on this really quick. That should do it. So yeah, you can see Disneyland. All adults. Oh wait, there's one kid down there. right at the end. So yeah, slow-mo. Is that a cap? Are those Captain America mouse ears? So yeah, you can see pretty much all adults right up until the very end. There is literally one kid right here. But yeah, I don't see why Dinesh D'Souza had to call them creepy. Look, as I said before, if you're a functioning adult, contributes to society, pays taxes, etc., I see no issue with you enjoying the things you want to do so long as you are not harming anyone or ruining it for everyone else. Like in the case of Disney adults who shove kids out of the way to get that photo op with Mickey Mouse. I would argue anyone who does that should be immediately trespassed from all the parks across the world, which to them would be equivalent to being excommunicated from their religion. It would be like the Catholic Archdiocese or the Pope or whoever decides to say, no communion for you. I believe it's probably the bishop, because I heard that Nancy Pelosi is barred from receiving communion in her area. I don't know. I just know that excommunication can happen. And again, I would argue if Disney adults actually shove kids out of the way to get a photo with Mickey Mouse, they should be immediately trespassed, never allowed to set foot in a Disney theme park again. That's just me, though. Other than that, if you're just at Disney World enjoying yourself, doing a character meet and greet if you feel that strongly about it, riding the rides, enjoying the foods, getting some sunshine, I do not see the problem with that. In the case of Chuck's Arcade, though, my thing is, I have no problem with adults doing that as long as. Actually, I really don't have a problem with them doing that, whether they're alone or with friends. It gets them out of the house. I don't see why that should be a problem, but let's get back to the article. And catering to a subset of out of touch, childless millennials certainly hasn't been good for their bottom line. But that isn't stopping another child focused company from trying to appeal to the same group with an adults only arcade. Probably way easier to access than Disney World or Disneyland. Behold, Chuck's Arcade. And this is from the official Chuck E. Cheese profile on X.
Yes!
Sorry, I gotta lower the volume on that. Okay, that's still a little too loud. There we go. I just want to say I love the retro arcade cabinets they had there. Back in the day, my family would go up to this place called Funspot up in New Hampshire. World's largest arcade. That's why I say I am essentially a Gen Xer at heart because I grew up playing video games on arcade cabinets like the Gen Xers did. Those were good times. I really want to play a video game on an actual arcade cabinet now instead of. Nah, I still like my Switch 2, and I'm sorry, I'm getting a little sentimental here. Let's see what the rest of it that has to say. Really, Safari? Alright. And you can see prizes that I assume are from a time before I was born, minus the Funko Pop here. That's really the only one that's out of place in 2025 compared to. I'm guessing this is supposed to evoke 1995 Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah, I see nothing wrong with this. Heck, my friends and I actually have gone bowling and then played at the arcade at a place. I'll throw in some pics up here, mostly of me. Suffice it to say, it's something that I think adults should be allowed to enjoy. If you want to get people doing something outside the house, this is it. And there are definitely millennials and zoomers out there who would prefer an adults only environment for the sake of not having random disruptions. Unfortunately, a lot of that means that alcohol is present, and if you've watched this channel before, you know that I am not a fan of alcohol. I'm not gonna go on my tirade about staying the hell away from it, but suffice it to say, I would very much prefer an alcohol-free environment that is tailored to adults in all other aspects. Yeah, because I was watching this YouTube video. I'll show it to you later, at least the thumbnail and title, because I want to get back to the article, which says in response to the video like that, they couldn't have even tried to make it classy. I don't know. That seemed kind of classy in my opinion. I mean, it didn't. I mean, it's not like they were. I don't know. You let me know in the comments if you think Chuck's Arcade looks classy from that video. I think it looks pretty minimalist, decent enough. Although I will say I've seen the exact same air hockey table at the movie theater I go to. And I've played that Space Invaders game at the bowling alley. Alright, I found the video. I'm going to show it to you really quick so if you want to look it up after the fact. Is Modern Society Becoming Too Kid-Friendly? By Myopix. The thumbnail here. The Babyfication of Society. Basically, she was talking about the blurring of the lines between spaces for kids and spaces for adults, or media for kids, media for adults, like Five Nights at Freddy's, with their deeper lore about the horror stuff I'm not going to go into detail about here, but also the merchandise that panders to children. There's no clear-cut line. Anyway, let's get back to the article. You can look that video up after you finish this one. Appreciate it if you finish this one at the very least. Alright. Getting back to the article. Just imagine Chuck E. Cheese Esquire's Arcade. David McKillips, CEO of Chuck E. Cheese, said the spin-off is a natural evolution for the company following the remodel of its 500 locations and sees it as an opportunity to extend our arcade legacy into new formats that engage both lifelong fans and a new generation through a curated mix of retro classics and cutting-edge experiences. In addition to having video games, the locations will also serve food and alcohol, because nothing quite encapsulates your lost childhood like trying to pick up a stuffed animal with a mechanical claw while you're too drunk to see straight. And there's a gif from a Saturday Night Live skit of a toddler carrying beer bottles, I guess. Yeah, my moral problems with the alcohol part of it aside, it's also a matter of it'll increase the odds of fights breaking out, a la Jerry Springer show. And yeah, it'll definitely make claw machines a lot harder, not that they're particularly easy. I speak from experience as someone who has actually had some decent luck on claw machines at the movie theater that I have since given up, which one of my friends called my gambling problem. Which honestly just goes to show that arcades are pretty much casinos aimed at children. Like, I'm surprised claw machines are perfectly legal because of the baseball card loophole. TLDR, baseball cards can be sold in blind packs because you are getting something, no matter what. You just don't know which specific cards it is. Whereas if you sell a, whereas if you give your money to a casino or to a claw machine, you might get something, you might lose it all. Seriously, you let me know in the comments below how claw machines aren't technically gambling. Anyway, back to the article. It's an odd choice coming off the company's recent bankruptcy, especially as this model hasn't worked so well for Dave & Buster's, who posted a 9.4% loss in year-over-year sales. I thought Dave & Buster's pandered to everyone. They had the adult drinks and the food stuff for the adults. They aren't completely, but the Dave and Buster's is not completely inaccessible to children. Okay. The one time I actually thought about going to a Dave and Buster's, almost a decade ago now, I read the rules on the entryway. Basically, if you were under, I think 16, or it might have been 18 or 21, you had to be accompanied by someone 21 up. I was 19 at the time. Yeah, that's what I remember. Maybe it's changed since then. Maybe it's still there. That's what I remember seeing. That's why I ended up not going to the Dave and Buster's. And I have actually never been to a Dave and Buster's. But I digress. Reactions to the announcement are mixed. Pathetic. This is what happens when our generation doesn't have kids. Still time, millennials, but it's running out. There's a biological clock joke to be had here, but I don't want to be labeled a sexist pig, even though, technically speaking, time is running out for the women in their 30s because menopause is a thing. But if you're a guy, well, time is only running out if you want to reproduce with someone your age. I mean, look at Al Pacino, 80 something years old. I believe right around the same age as my grandparents. He conceived a child with a 29-year-old woman at the time. Let that sink in. Getting back to the article. Won't want to be jumping in that adult ball pit. Honestly, looking back, I'm starting to wonder what was ever the appeal of ball pits in the first place? Will the pizza still taste like tomato soup and vomit? Finally, a place where you can crush skee ball, sip a cocktail, and heal your inner child all at once. But this one by far is my favorite. Adults. The age of kidults continues. Again, what is wrong with adults being able to enjoy an arcade that is tailored to them? Obviously, I know you can't repeat the past. The Great Gatsby is all about that. God, I want to listen to that audiobook. I have to finish the Return of the King audiobook first. But you get the idea. You can't relive the past. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy something if you still enjoy it, you know. Again, Disney adults, if you're an adult who enjoys going to the Disney parks, being civilized about it, being patient, and most importantly, not shoving kids out of the way to get your photo with Mickey Mouse, which, like I said earlier, should have resulted in immediate criminal trespass from every single Disney park on Earth, excommunication from your religion, if you will. As long as you aren't doing something like that, enjoy what you want. You want to go to Chuck's Arcade? I think it's probably better that they have one with made for adults so that they can enjoy the games and cuss at the games that they feel so strongly about it, or play the kind of games that they played growing up. Like, obviously, it is going to be different. You're going to have the ability to put much more force into rolling a skee ball than 20 years ago. You are going to have everything is going to feel smaller to you because you're a grown adult. That being said, if you want to enjoy playing those games, like, again, I would love to play the retro arcade cabinets there just for the novelty, even though I have the ability to play Dig Dug, Pac-Man, various others. Centipede was one of the ones that was in there, all on my Switch. They have various compilations available out there. It would still be fun to do every now and then. But other than that, as long as you're not hurting anyone, I don't see a problem. So I'm going to leave it here for the video. You let me know in the comments down below what you think of this trend, whether you think this is a good thing that the companies are expanding their reach, or if you think it's a bad thing that they're adding something just for adults when they could focus on their target demographic, which is significantly smaller. Again, I'll throw the generational numbers up here so you can see just how small their target demographic is and why they are considering their why they're doing this. I can understand, but at a certain point, again, what you do with your time and money is your business, as long as you are not hurting anyone. Give this video a like, subscribe for daily videos, and I will see you soon.